now that I understand what he went through trying to make it, so you can look at it from a completely different perspective.
So, hi, I'm Dan from Cineworld. Thank you very much for sitting down and chatting with us today. We're excited to bring this film to our cinemas across the UK and Ireland.
Thank you.
I guess I'll start by asking, how did you get involved with the project?
I got a phone call from Scott Cooper, which was very nice. And he said, look, I've wrote this script. I'm making a film about Bruce Springsteen. When I made the script and when I wrote the script, I had you in mind for this role. It's not a massive role, but it's integral to the story. It's the spine of the film. And, you know, I don't really think there's anyone else that I would want to play. To which I said, all right, I'm in. And he went, you haven't read the script. I went, I don't need to, I'm in. It's you doing it. And we were looking to work together a while ago, but dates didn't work out. So, you know, I was on board. And then I read the script. My advice is to any other actor, don't really do that, read the script first. You never know. But yeah, that was when I jumped off the cliff straight away, do you know what I mean?
I guess when you get a compliment like that, it's like...
Yeah, it's very difficult to say, oh, do you know what? I'm sorry, I'm all right, I'm busy. No,
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Did you have much... I mean, it feels a bit churlish to say, are you a Springsteen fan? Did you have much of a relationship with Nebraska specifically?
Not at all. And I was not a fan, I'm just going to be honest. And do you know what I mean? In my house, it wasn't really the kind of tunes that were being played. It was more, you know, Motown, Bob Marley, then Style Council, The Jam, do you know what I mean? All of that, The Clash and things like that. That was what was being played in my house. Grandmaster Flash and Melly Mel and all of those kind of things. The Sugar Hill Gang and things like that, you know what I mean? That was the music that was played in my house. But my Uncle Joey was a Springsteen fan, so I knew of Bruce. And so it was really nice for me to not come at it with anything, do you know what I mean? Which I think kind of really helped me in many ways. Now I am a fan.
Yeah.
And now I've had the opportunity to listen to Nebraska, now that I understand what he went through trying to make it, so you can look at it from a completely different perspective. And there's a real kind of haunting beauty within that album. Do you know what I mean? I can appreciate it from a completely different point of view now.
And I suppose, actually, interestingly, that might have helped put the character together because, as you say, it's relatively small screen time, but such a shadow over the whole film. It very much is, his presence is so big. How do you go about building a character like that with all of that sort of pressure and all of that?
Well, for me, it was very simple. I listened to the audiobook straight away. And the beauty of that, I listened to that Deliver Me From Nowhere. Excuse me. And the beauty from that was, it was Bruce who vocalized it. Do you know what I mean? So I got to really kind of understand Bruce's life and get to know Bruce through listening to him for, you know, a good week or so in my ears, you know what I mean? So there was a kind of intimate kind of relationship I was developing, which may sound weird, but that's how it was going for me, do you know what I mean? And then on top of that, I was listening to the kind of things he was saying about his father and how he described his father, and I noticed straight away that he changed his tone whenever he took on his father's persona, to the element of there was kind of bits of fear there, but also, you know, this kind of gravity that he brought to it whenever he did his father's voice. And I just thought, wow, okay, I'm going to nick that. And when I met him for the first time and I said, you're aware that when you do your dad's voice, you kind of change? And he was like, what? And I went, you changed the tone of your voice, you're aware? And he was like, do I really? No. I was like, yeah. So that was the foundation for my character. I had something that I could lock into then, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, completely. And I think it's interesting knowing what we know about you and your work you're doing at the moment with men's mental health and things like that. A lot of the things we talk about now, even though we have a long way to go, weren't available to Douglas then. Is that something that influences how you go about portraying a character with a lot of humanity, even though there's a lot of brutality in there as well? Of
course, yeah. And the essence is, you know, it was Bruce that learned that humility. He had the humility to be able to reach out his hand to his father once he had the empathy throughout our journey to understand what it was that his father was going through. Do you know what I mean? The trauma of his past, he understood why it was there. As he got older and he kind of really understood his father and he got to experience to different variations the kind of depression that his father suffered from, do you know what I mean? And his father tried to medicate his depression with drink. Bruce found a way to, at some point, reach out and seek help. Do you know what I mean? Which is the beginning of the cleansing process. And then what Bruce does within that context is breaks the spiritual malady. So he's able to reach out his hand and his heart to his father and offer out that kind of, you know, path for redemption, and also the making of amends begins in that process there and then.
And it's a really powerful moment in the film. I think it's a really powerful film anyway, one that I think people should go out and see on the big screen. Yeah. Just before I wrap up, I expose a slightly general question, but what is it that you love about going to see movies in a cinema context on that big screen?
Just that kind of sense of wonder. Do you know what I mean? It's a massive screen, the popcorn. But that kind of collective consciousness, without sounding pretentious, that collective consciousness of watching a film together. Do you know what I mean? Before we watched this, me and Hannah the other night, we went to watch One Battle After Another, which is fantastic. And just that sitting in a cinema and watching it, do you know what I mean, in awe. And it always takes me back. I can't, do you know what I mean? There was a couple, but I think for me personally, I think the first film I remember watching in the pictures was Jungle Book. Do you know what I mean? So it was that sense of wonder as a kid and just being like, oh, wow, it's just something so massive. But the sound and the richness and the, you know, it's turning on the endorphins in your brain, isn't it? It's like, wow. And the ability to feel the energy of everybody else in that room, and be moved and being taken on this roller coaster emotional journey that only films and music can do in a certain way. A book has a different way of doing it. But music and cinema have that same kind of way of really kind of grabbing hold of your heart and taking you on a little ride, you know what I mean? So for me, it's imperative to keep, and something we've always done with the kids. That's why the kids go to pictures so much. See, my Scousology says pictures, the cinema.
I call them pictures too.
It's all right, so we're on the same page. So the kids have always been to pictures when they were young, and that's great because that's something that they do quite often. Do you know what I mean? Separate with their mates and things like that, they go to pictures regular. So it's nice to have passed that baton on. My mum gave that to me, and my dad did as well. Do you know what I mean? Went to pictures loads with them, so it's nice to pass that on.
Yeah, smashing. That's all the time I've got, so I appreciate it very
much. Cheers, mate.
I don't have to tell you, we got to hit it out of the park with the next record. Bruce Springsteen's on a rocket ship. We don't want to miss that window.
We label it once you have your first top 10. They're just thinking about momentum.
I'm trying to find something real. These new songs, they're different, but they're the only thing making sense to me right now. The only thing I can still believe in.
Then we'll get it. Whatever it takes.
Well, they blew up the Chicken Man in Philly last night. Now they blew up his house too.
This is a highly unorthodox career move.
But that's the point. He's channeling something deeply personal. But in this office, my office, we believe in Bruce Springsteen.
Everything dies, honey, that's a fact. Maybe everything that dies someday.
Songwriting's a funny thing. And it's about searching for something. Something that's gonna give your life a little bit of meaning.
This is where you're meant to go.
I don't need to be perfect. I just want it to feel right.
Maybe everything that dies someday comes back.